So, since the new trailers dropped, everyone's been asking me what I think of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And what is there to say? I mean, it looked amazing. And it also provides some evidence to back some of the theories that I made back in 2020, 3 years ago. So, listen up and let's go through it bit by bit because I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts on what the game looks like so far and also on my theories and if they align with yours at all. So, first things first, the game looks amazing. The locations, new characters, new summons, it all looks great. We also saw the Golden Saucer, the mini games. We even saw a really good looking scene of Cloud and the gang riding chocobos. Even Red 13 was riding a chocobo, which I sort of can't unsee now. It's sort of stuck in my mind. It just looks so weird. But it's looking like this really great, and there's going to be a lot of content in the second installment. Some are saying that there's over 100 hours of content, in fact. We also saw clips of Yuffie and Vincent and Kate Sith. No Sid yet, but I'm sure we'll see him pop up at some point. So it's looking like the entire gang will be together in this game, which makes sense because apparently the game will be covering the rest of the first disc of the original game. So it should end in the Forgotten City, hopefully. Now, let's talk about two things which I really want to bring attention to. First of all, we'll address the elephant in the room, which is Cloud riding a Segway in civilian clothing. So are we finally going to get another Final Fantasy where you can change clothes of your characters? Because I really hope so. It may just be part of a specific mission or a mini game, but if it stretches into the main playable world and you can change into, I don't know, the soldier disguise or civilian clothing or into Cloud's original purple uniform when you want, then that would be such a nice touch. So I'm holding out hope that we'll be able to get something akin to Lightning Returns, for want of a better comparison, because you know it's cool seeing your favorite characters in different outfits. It just is. But on a more serious note, with all the vehicles and the other small touches, there's quite a bit of an indication of both all the core content being there and also a load of extended content, and it's got me really, really excited. Let's now talk about my second big takeaway. And it links to a theory video that I made 3 years ago, or a couple theory videos that I made about the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And if you haven't seen them already, be sure to check them out either now or after watching this video, because there's things which I mentioned in there which people said couldn't be right, surely can't be right, but it's seeming increasingly possible as of this trailer, just looking at some of the comments that I made in the trailer and some of the scenes that we saw. Also, by the way, everything that I'm about to say and everything in those videos is full of spoilers for the original game. So if you haven't seen it and don't want to get stuff spoiled, don't touch it. So just going back to this point, we've seen in this trailer that there's mention by Sephiroth of separate worlds meeting at Reunion. And we know that at the end of the previous game, Zack appears to have survived and that the stamp, so that's the dog, was different. So now it seems to be pretty much confirmed that somewhere there's an alternate timeline, one in which Zack is alive. Now, I said in the past that one of our big questions is whether Zack is alive in the same world as our characters or a different one that runs alongside it. Now, I think this question is still partially up in the air, although there is mention that there's something going on in the sky where Zack is. So whether that's a reference to the world that is in or just the location that is in, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, remember when I was discussing the purpose of Kyrie and Leslie, and I said that they felt like visual and emotional placeholders for Yuffie and Vincent, who we love but hadn't met yet because of the timing of the game, of the remake that is. I also theorized that maybe there's a chance that this new alternate Zack will have his own team, which will follow their own story parallel or maybe even just behind Cloud's group, and that it would contain Kyrie and Leslie. And lo and behold, as we see in the trailer, Zack meets Kyrie upon arriving in Midgar, and he speaks to her while he's holding an injured Cloud. So there's definitely going to be some sort of relationship between them, whether it's short-lived or more akin to what I theorized 3 years ago. We'll have to wait and see whether it's a team up or whether you just bump into her and then he moves on. But we know that Zack's definitely going to have a major story arc, and I believe it's going to overlap a lot with characters that we've already met and may have taken for granted in the past. I think we'll see them taking a much more prominent role. Now, another theory built within this theory that I had and still have is that whatever the big bad that Sephiroth is fighting against is going to require Cloud, Sephiroth and Zack to take it down as a team. So whatever this final enemy is that even sort of Sephiroth's geared up against, I don't think he can take it alone. I think it's going to require these 3 characters who have been the main sort of nucleus or nuclei which the entire compilation sort of revolves around. To me, they're a final team that, you know, in this game we'll get a chance to control them all, but it's going to be independently. And the hope is that in the final part of the series we'll probably get to control them all together as a team. And I think that's something that we're playing for. We all want it. We're going to get a taste in the Nibelheim flashback, because of course we'll see Cloud fighting beside Sephiroth and we'll be able to control them there. We saw them combining their attacks. But all 3 of them, I think that's something that we won't see until like literally the end game. But I do think it will happen. And I do also still believe that this is linked to my all or one theory, which is either all 3 of them will die, with a possible blank slate Cloud that's left over at the end of the game, or one of them will live, but he's left with a role that takes him beyond the planet itself. So whether that's inside the live stream or literally off in space, yeah, I just think that there's going to be all of them gone, or one of them sticking around, but for a very specific role that sort of transcends humanity. And I won't go deep into it because it's in that past theory video, but I do advise that you do check that out and let me know your thoughts. And as a final point within this theory, I do still believe that Sephiroth is a bad guy. There may be elements of his backstory which make us feel a bit sorry for him, but he is a villain through and through, and I think he will always be considered as such, and that's what the creators intend. And that's even if he does give us reason to feel sorry for him, or even if he does give us those weird sort of sultry looks while attacking his enemies. So Sephiroth, as we know, is notoriously known as a villain among the video game community. He stands among the most recognizable villains in video games, with the likes of, you know, Bowser and Ganondorf and Bison. This guy needs to remain bad, even if, you know, his point of view is justified at some point. We still need to be able to look at this guy and be like, yeah, he's not okay, and the stuff that he does isn't okay. And so, yeah, in conclusion, this game is looking good, and we don't even have that long to wait, which is great. I mean, I'll keep an eye out for anything that piques my interest or any new theories that I see going around. I know that I've sort of skirted along the surface here, so I might delve a bit more into certain things, depending on the response, you know, just things that I see from other creators popping up. But yeah, I won't be surprised if the creators keep a lot to their chest, if Square Enix keep a lot to their chest for the time being, because, you know, with the original game already out, there's not much that they can keep hidden apart from the new content, so they're going to want to control how much that gets out. But yeah, that's my brief opinion on what's been released so far, and a quick reminder of my theories from back in 2020 and 2021. So let me know what you think in the comments. I'm so eager to hear what theories you have. So until next time, take care.